Thank you, live Mark. Hi guys, pre-recorded Mark here. I hope you're all having a great time at Lift this afternoon. If you can't be with us today and you're watching this after the event, then I hope you're okay as well, and I'll see you when I next come visiting on Friday. So this week we're looking at what prayer is and thinking about how to do it. The first thing I want to say is prayer is one of the most powerful things you can do as a Christian. And I believe that when people pray, amazing things can happen. But prayer is a funny thing, and that people have some funny ideas about how you're supposed to do it. So first of all, let's take a look at what it's really all about. So whether you're a new Christian or you've been one for ages, you still need to build up your friendship with God. Now, you wouldn't get to know a new person by ignoring them, or by talking to them once, or by falling asleep whilst you're talking to them, would you? You'd spend time with them, you'd listen to what they have to say. It's the same with God. You get to know him the more you talk to him. And that's what prayer really is, talking with God. Think of it a little like a telephone call. Only you're not talking to someone down the road or in another city, you're talking to the creator of the universe. So I think that answers our first thing, which is, what is prayer? It's talking to God. But now we have to think about the slightly trickier part of how we do it. Well, first off, it's not tricky at all. You don't have to do it at church or at Lift. You can chat to God absolutely anywhere. On your bike, on your way to school, in the shower, even at McDonald's. Other fast food chains are available. You can pray anytime, in your head or out loud, it doesn't matter. Although it's probably worth checking if there's anyone around if you're praying out loud, otherwise you might get some funny looks. And sometimes it's good to go into your bedroom, just close the door and pray there too. The next thing we could think about is how often. Like I said, you wouldn't get to know someone very well by just talking to them once a year. So chat to God as often as you can. Sometimes that might be lots of times during the day, and sometimes you might forget to chat to him at all. Don't worry. If you don't speak to him some days, it's not the end of the world. Okay, so another thing we could think about is, do we need to pray alone or with friends? And you know what? Both are brilliant. Sometimes I like to pray with friends, and sometimes I like to pray by myself. The next thing we could think about is eyes open or eyes shut. Whatever works best for you. Again, it doesn't really matter, because both are good. However, if you are closing your eyes to help you concentrate, it isn't recommended that you're walking around outdoors. As you might be in for a little bit of a surprise if you do. Lastly, what can you say? Well, that's the best thing. Anything you like. You don't need to put on a posh voice for God. It doesn't need to be a long prayer. You don't need to use long or complicated words, unless that's how you talk. God wants you to be real with him, like you're real with everyone else. He doesn't need you to put on airs and graces for him. He just wants you to be you. Because he created you and he loves you just the way you are. I generally work to the principle of saying thank you first, then sorry, then praying for others, then help prayers. So I could say thank you for my wonderful family, my brilliant friends, and my fantastic job. I could say sorry that I woke up in a bad mood this morning, and Ben and Josh were being noisy and I shouted at them, which was a bit unfair because, I just was in a bad mood. And they're 8. They're allowed to make a lot of noise. It's in the rules of being 8. I could pray for others. I know people who are unwell, so I could pray for them and say, God, can you help them? Can you heal them? And, get on with that, please. And then I can pray for help. And I go like, God, I'm still really not fond of public speaking, but you can help me, give me the confidence to be able to do it and do it well and inspire me and So it's all good. Okay? The Lord's Prayer is absolutely brilliant because it covers everything you might want to say to God if you can't come up with your own words. So that's how we do it. The last thing I want to talk to you about is, why do I pray sometimes and nothing seems to happen? Okay, what we need to think about here is that God hears all of our prayers, but He doesn't always answer them immediately or even in the way we expect. But He is God after all, and He does tend to do things His way and not ours. I found that God generally has 3 answers to prayer. Sometimes He says yes, and that's great. Sometimes He says no, which is less great. And sometimes He says wait. And that's because what we've asked for maybe isn't in our best interests, and He's waiting for us to come round to the idea of maybe you don't need to pray for that particular thing, or that particular thing that you're praying for isn't going to be particularly great for you, so maybe not. We've just got to keep praying and trusting in Him. So that's prayer in a nutshell. I just want to encourage you guys to just go for it. Just try it. Try and chat to God every day if you can. And remember, He really does listen to you, and He cares about what you think and what you feel and how you're feeling. And who knows what amazing things might happen as you pray. Okay, guys, bless you all. Buckets, thank you for listening, if indeed you still are. Back to you, Live Mark.